The lamp, it looks dead. Do things like this happen often here? Constance? I haven't seen anything like this before. Is anyone hurt? Any scratches or bruises? I feel faint, Doctor. You do look a bit shaken up. You were close to the explosion, so it was understandable. Don't worry, it'll pass. If you feel faint later, visit me and I'll give you something to soothe your nerves. You're probably right. Thank you, Doctor. Please, it's Galen. So what exactly happened here? What is there to tell? We heard what happened and we can see its effects, Galen. Did anyone see who did this? He called me Galen instead of Doctor. Oh. I can assure you whoever is responsible for this was likely acting from a distance long before the actual event. That is, if there is a culprit at all. What do you mean by that? The city is old. Accidents like this are more likely to happen as technology ages. That isn't very reassuring. Though it does make me wonder how you came to know about this city's technology, Yani. That's not what I would ask, Doctor. I think I actually caught a glimpse of someone running away from the market when we got here. Someone? But there's hardly anyone left in the city. Interesting. Brief moments of heightened stress can make our minds play tricks on us. We shouldn't rely too much on our memories, Constance. Especially after we've had that delicious brandy. So you didn't see anyone, Galen? No, I didn't. I would still prefer to search the area and see if there are traces of anyone's presence. We should take care of the people at the inn first. You'll be needed there too, in case something strange happens again. I think we should all just go back to our business and act normal. We don't want to cause any panic. Whatever the case, be it sabotage or poor maintenance, the risk of another malfunction of this magnitude happening in the next few days is practically non-existent. I know this must sound difficult for you right now, but for the time being we should be safe. What makes you think that? The building pressure, which most likely caused the explosion, found a way out. Even if someone is purposely unbalancing the current, it will take time to cause another incident. Unbalancing the current? What are you talking about? Does anyone know what she's talking about? Yani is clearly an expert on the matter, so it seems reasonable to trust her words. For now. How do you know all this? I'm beginning to think finding you in the middle of that icy desert was more than just luck. What else can you tell us? Not much right now. I'll examine the site tomorrow. The current is still much too hot to do this safely now. Also, I would prefer daylight for that. Daylight? We don't have daylight here. I meant the artificial lighting. Do you think you'll be able to find and fix the cause of the malfunction? I don't really have much choice, do I? If the system fails during the true winter, we're all going to die. Please, don't panic. We all know what we have to do. Let's head back home and let Yani work. Business as usual, people. I agree. Panic and paranoia are the last things we need right now. Actually, this gave me an idea. I was planning to hold a party to properly welcome our new colleagues. Ooh, I love parties. Tomorrow seems like a very good time to do that. Finally, a party. That is very thoughtful of you, Constance. Really? Alright. Oh, Constance, always the perfect hostess. I like the idea. Very well, I'll search the area. Laura, you'd better inform Miss Devon about all this. Galen, you see what's going on at the inn. I'll go with you, Galen. I would like to invite everyone personally. Welcome to the Jewel of the North, city of parties and random explosions. I can't wait to tell the folks back home about all this. Chapter 2, Jewel of the North. Wow, that was all just chapter 1. Things were not looking up. My worst suspicion received a very tangible confirmation. The system was clearly unbalanced, possibly via intentional sabotage. What's worse, nobody in the city seemed to understand the gravity of the situation or its underlying implications. Well, almost nobody. It was high time to have a few words with our mysterious doctor. Ooh. Let's not delay this any longer. It's time we talked, Yani. The two main characters talking. I agree. There's nothing like an explosion to raise questions. I have plenty, believe me. I'm glad we're on the same page then. Let me start. This has been bugging me since I found you in the snow, and you've been really dodgy about it. What exactly made you risk your life to get here? You don't strike me as the reckless type. What should I tell him? The truth. I would like for her. I would like for her to trust the doctor. Reckless? Far from it. But leaving this wonder of technology without proper oversight? Now that would be reckless. We've been monitoring the city for centuries. Recently, we've detected some alarming anomalies. I'm here to investigate and fix them. Anomality. Monitoring? Who are we exactly? I'm with the faculty. We constructed this city a long time ago, and we're probably the only ones who can fix it if things go awry. Even Istvan recognizes that. Honestly, I thought you had figured that out already. Something tells me you know much more than you show. A secret society of technicians monitoring the Jewel of the North? Surprisingly, that makes sense. But why are you investing Lev's disappearance? Is it connected to what's going on? Tell him. Why would I stop telling him the truth? A part of the city's system malfunctions and a person goes missing. It's only logical to assume these events are related. My job is to protect this place. After what happened yesterday, I must assume someone is intentionally sabotaging the system. Isn't that a bit too far-fetched? Only a complete madman would do that during the true winter. A madman like Lev? He usually comes back, but this time he seems to have disappeared for good. Then one of the emergency vents bursts just a few days later? I guess it does seem fishy. There's still a chance these two events have absolutely no connection, but better safe than sorry. But why are you looking for Lev? Tell her the truth. I think it'd be really interesting if one of them, if either A, both of them lied to each other, or B, one of them told them the truth and the other one lied to them. It's really interesting with this sort of game because you're playing both characters. You know, it's like, I feel like on your first playthrough, you kind of want to tell the truth to each other because you kind of want the characters to be in the same page, or I could be wrong. Maybe a first-time player doesn't want that, but wants chaos. But yeah, I don't know. It seems like it'd be very, for most people, I feel like most people would be more aligned to like trusting each other because you're playing as both characters. It feels like you're betraying yourself almost if you don't. I too think there's more to this disappearance than meets the eye. Leaving the city isn't an option, which means he must still be around. My guess is that he's found the place no one knows about. No surprise either. His quest for Kala meant he's searched every inch of the city. I'm sure he knows many of its secrets. Why would a doctor on a temporary contract care about things like this? A good question. My job is to prevent those secrets from becoming public knowledge. Who are you exactly? Ever heard of the Academy on the Isles? The magicians? Wait, is he a mage? Are you a mage? That's what many call us, yes, but that's not important. What matters is that this city exists thanks to our craft. Do you know how difficult it is to create a blooming garden in the middle of the frozen wasteland? Oh, I do, actually. You must have done your part badly, though. Your blooming garden has an unnerving tendency to explode. We love to spice our creations with a hint of chaos. I like Galen a lot. His personality is so cool. He's so smooth. This, however, wasn't planned. Something strange is going on here, and I was sent to prevent it from getting worse. It seems we have a common goal, at least. Let's not dwell on personal priorities. We should focus on the task at hand. We need to find Lev. Agreed. 2 amateur investigators are better than 1. Indeed, research shows interdisciplinary teams are much more efficient than separate individuals, like Sherlock Holmes and Watson. Not to mention way more fun. And since we're pooling knowledge, look what I got from Slava. Whose notebook is it? It's a diary. It belongs to Lev, but I can't open it. It has a very complex lock. That's curious. I recognize the symbols on the cover. Really? Do you know what they mean? I have no idea. I do know how to open it, though. This may sound strange, but I think I have the matching key. Laura, of all people, gave it to me. Why would she give it to you? Oh, never mind, let's open it. I'm wondering if we wouldn't be able to If depending on your choices, we wouldn't have been able to open this key. Alright, I'll give it a try. By the way, I hope it fits. This thing is booby-trapped, and I'd rather not be in its range when you set it off. How chivalrous of you, Doctor. Here goes. I like the humor in this game. Merciful chances, help! It burns so much, my eyes! I think she's joking. It's a joke. Spirits, what's wrong? What's happening? I'm pulling your leg. Relax. I knew it. You couldn't pull one on me. Nope. Sorry, Ani. Couldn't pull one on me. Gah, not funny. Not as in, you had me worried there. Just not funny. Stop sulking and help me decipher this. Fine, but no more jokes. What does it say? It's mostly gibberish. He seems lost in his fantasy world. Take a look at all these wild hypotheses, these clues he's gathered. If he's the one who gathered them. Look here, he mentions a guide, a mentor of some sort. Finally, I have someone who understands the significance of my work. I met with I again. I? Now I know what I should do. Here is a guide I can trust, someone who understands that Kala isn't just an object, but is also a test. Was he referring to himself, or was someone feeding him ideas? Hard to say. Here's another one. I was right about the guide. My suspicions were unfounded. Destiny is leading me to my goal. A new path opens before me. If he really wasn't in his right mind, I don't know, I feel like I'd be surprised that he'd be so cryptic and not just name the person, not put the person's name of the guide anywhere in his journal, unless he really was that paranoid that somebody else would read it. I learnt about a secret door. I've passed it hundreds of times. I can't believe it. It's in plain sight, yet it remains hidden from the unworthy. And it's not all about Kala. I know I've caused Slava great pain. She's trapped in this accursed city, and it's all because of me. She deserved none of it. Wow. He really seems to be in his right mind here. But I'm so close. As soon as I find it, I will make it up to her. I will buy her freedom. Wow, that's really noble of him. The rest looks like information about magical rituals or just ordinary gibberish. None of it makes sense. Seems so. Let's focus on something more tangible. As you wish. I have a favor to ask now that we're together. Sure, how can I help you? I need to analyze some water from the bathhouse. I thought you could lend me your expertise as a chemist. Shouldn't be a problem. Do you have a sample? Not yet. We need to take some from the pools. Thought I'd ask, should a chance present itself. Consider me warned. Why do you think we should analyze it anyway? I heard about its healing and soothing properties. But that's nothing. The waters also cause some people to experience visions. Very vivid ones. Psychoactive properties? That's interesting. Potentially entertaining, too. I think this might be influencing the city's system somehow. So I'd like to know how it affects both humans and machines. Good idea. Getting a sample shouldn't be a problem. We'll have a look at it together. It seems our areas of expertise complement each other well. I guess. Why don't you let me mingle and collect gossip while you focus on the more technical side of things? I think you'll agree that I'm the people person on our little team. So basically you want me to just shut up and spend my time locked in my workshop? That's not going to happen. I love these two characters. These two characters have great chemistry with each other. It was just a suggestion. No need to get defensive. What have you found so far, then? A few things. I'll tell you if you promise to share what you know. Of course. I truly want to find Lev, you know. Good. Then let's go through my notes, and quickly. I need to pay Istvan a visit soon. Nice. Are you off to see Istvan? Good luck. He's in a foul mood. Shouldn't you be stopping me right now? Not this time. I'm going home. If Istvan expects me to stay up all night to service him and then continue the next day without sleep, he's even crazier than I thought. Oh, you were with Istvan all night. I had no idea. I don't know the rules here yet. What? No! How could you think? No! Istvan was stargazing and ordered me to stay in case he needed anything. Oh, Istvan is an astronomer. That seems like a step in the right direction. Rulers need knowledge. It's not a step in the right direction, I assure you. You can't become wise overnight, and Istvan hasn't the patience for it. He believes in easy answers. He spent the whole night attempting to learn? That should count for something. Sure it does. Dementia. He was muttering about a special night star alignment, magic and mathematics. He kept me up because astrology told him something is about to happen. What? Don't know, don't care. If you want, you can go up and ask him yourself. You wouldn't be the first to come and go unsupervised. Please don't tell him I said that. Don't worry, I won't say a thing. But I can see this angers you. Trust me, you'll feel better after telling him off. Ancestors forbid, I could never do that. Do it here then, behind his back. It feels almost as good as the real thing, you'll see. I'm not sure, it's just that... Why am I supposed to enforce some stupid rule when every other woman is allowed to break it? That does sound rotten. Who was it you had to tolerate? I really can't say, but if you see an attractive woman in this town, you can be sure she's been seduced by a family member and was above the code of conduct at some point. The gates to this district are supposed to be closed, but the bedposts stay wide open. So if it's free access you want, be nice to Istvan. I think I'll pass. Wise move. The best ones go high, earn riches and official posts, but they're never the same afterwards. It never ends well. Honestly, I can't believe what I'm hearing. Can you give me an example? Anything recent, perhaps? I wouldn't dare. It might hurt someone. More importantly, it might hurt me. You don't believe me? Fine. It's no secret how Constance got the bathhouse. Ask anyone. Constance seduced Istvan? She agreed to spend many years with Istvan's brother as his unofficial companion. Interesting. I didn't know Istvan had a brother. If that's true, she seems to have made a deal that suits her. She has his confidence and some autonomy, not to mention the bathhouse. She learned to play their game and to utilize her opportunities the same way they do, but she's definitely not as delicate or spontaneous as she was before. I've already told you too much. Go see Istvan. If you understand any of what I said, you'll be worried and avoid scruples. Do you? I'm one of the decent ones. I lost this game. Ooh, Istvan's room. What a mess. How can anyone work in such an environment? I love his telescope, though. Discipline of thought should be visible in every aspect of one's actions. If that's true, Istvan's science must have gone mad. But this telescope is clearly faculty technology. The best there is. He must be serious about his pursuit of astronomy. These instruments cost a fortune, but he doesn't even clean them. What do you think you're doing here? You should be fixing the city, not disturbing my studies. We spoke about this yesterday. I need to see the city plans first. Before you get to what's important, like the lamppost that blew up yesterday? If you're going to question my every move, this will take forever. Do I really need to explain every basic thing to you? Only if you want to get anything done in this city. I need to get to the main control chamber for accurate readings. Every other access point gives only a sliver of control. I've been ruling this city for over a decade. This is my first time hearing about a control chamber. My guess is the architects wanted to protect you from yourselves. Your politics don't always put the wisest on top. Gah! The plans are on the table for you. Are you telling me your secret chamber is just listed there? The layer showing the system, along with all its access points, is written in faculty code. Remember those strange symbols? No. Show me. What the? It's missing. Did you give it to someone? Who else had access to these? What are you insinuating, kid? The plans are kept safe in the library archive downstairs. Access to that area is restricted to family members, and no one would know how to read your code or even what it's all about. It would indeed require considerable knowledge to decipher. But don't tell me only the families are allowed in. I just entered undisturbed. Who else could have taken the plans? You were invited because you've proven your identity and the guards know you're to be trusted. To a point. Do you have any other trusted visitors that could freely walk in? You are testing my patience. Trust is not something I give lightly. I heard rumors that some women might have access here. Some women might have access here. I'm sorry, but I must ask. Yani, I'll explain this once. My brother used to be a careless ruler with mistresses who could do as they pleased. That was years ago. I took the seat when he passed, stars bless him, and things changed. I only let in trusted family members and faculty technicians such as yourself. Anyone else would be my private matter and not of your concern. Do I make myself clear? I know this is hard for you to understand, but working outside of the main control chamber is like building a bridge with your bare hands. The thief took my main tools. Making excuses already? Find what caused the explosion, fix it, and never bother me again. Can you do that? Honestly, I'm not sure. Hopefully I'll know more after I examine the marketplace. Since I need to focus on finding the access point, I have to rely on Galen to find Lev. Would you mind if I shared some of my knowledge with him? He's already engaged himself. Ha! An interesting choice. There's certainly more to your young doctor than meets the eye, isn't there? Unless you chose him because of some infatuation. Is that why you ask? It's not a matter of his looks, but his education. Something people here are in dire need of. I do not base my decisions on emotions. I'm asking about Galen because I want to be objective. He seems trustworthy enough, but I don't know him well. You know a lot about those who are allowed to enter this town, so I thought it couldn't hurt to ask for your opinion. Galen seems a very capable doctor, if a tad young. It was almost a miracle that he cured you. If he wished you harm, he already had the chance to act. Yet he's managed to help you, Slava, and a couple of others since he came. All signs suggest he's reliable. He could be of much use, if you let him be. I guess you're right. Thank you for your advice. Good. Enough chit-chat. This city was meant to be everlasting, and now it falls apart like a cheap toy. If I find out the faculty's a fraud, or that they've sent an incompetent technician, I'll take action, starting with you. Don't worry, I will find the cause of the explosion as fast as I can. I'll try to learn more about Lev's disappearance as well. I promise to get to the bottom of this. Youngsters are always the same. I need solutions, not cocky promises. Fix the marketplace and point out the guilty party. Fast, otherwise we'll get doubt, fear, and finally unrest. I would hate to deal with that. People need to see the lamppost back to normal. They need to feel safe with the culprit behind bars, and I need to get back to my astronomy. Do you understand? I do. Then get on with your work, and keep in mind that your time is limited. Are we done here? See, I want to ask him about Kala, but I feel like this guy is just no nonsense. I have to take Laura's advice into account and not play around. Alright, he seems like he's done with me, so I will leave you in peace. Very well then, I'll leave you in peace. Good. I'll inform Laura she is to supply you with everything you need in your efforts. Good luck, Yani. Oh, hey there. Hot stuff. Here comes our young detective. Afraid of the competition? I would be happy to see you solve this investigation and find Lev all by yourself, but I doubt that's possible. So no, I don't find you threatening, Galen. Are you alright? You seem tense. I'll be blunt. There are two things I truly hate. Not knowing what's going on, and surprises. And that's exactly what's happening right now. Unfortunately for me, well, prepare for some more disturbing news. On my way here, I noticed marks on the leaves of several plants. A very slight discoloration. Are they sick? I can't be sure without thorough examination, but different species of varying sizes are affected, including some very resilient ones. They all have one thing in common, though. Vulnerability to cold. The merchants who built this city bought these plants from southern islands for only one reason, to show off. Well, it looks like their power is dwindling. The changes were minute, so the cause must be recent. You may be worried about the greenhouse plants too. There are some very vulnerable rarities which must be kept in perfect condition. I need them to prepare the stronger medication, so it's a big deal. This is bad news. Can you keep an eye on this and tell me if anything changes? We could use your herbs as an early warning system. Of course. The garden is my responsibility anyways. Do you think this could be related to the explosion in the market? I do, yes. Then it's safe to assume the temperature will continue to drop until the system is repaired. Do you have any idea what might have caused the failure? I think it was sabotaged. But maybe I shouldn't be discussing with you at all. The trouble started when you and Yani came to the city. If I had a list of suspects, you'd be at the top. Me? Really? Wouldn't coming to you with this incriminating information make me a terrible schemer? Why would I do that? Maybe you just enjoy my company. Now there's a shocking idea. Do I enjoy his company? Yeah, very much so, sure. Not so shocking to me. You're right, of course. I was never good at hiding my enthusiasm. Or curbing it. Maybe we should focus on the more immediate task of finding Lev, huh? Learnt anything new? You were right about Slava hiding something, but I managed to convince her to be more open with me, and she gave me an important clue. Lev's diary. Well done! Did you learn anything from it? I did. Shortly before his disappearance, Lev met with someone, an ally he didn't name. That person was apparently an expert on Kala and advised him to search for its using magic. It's safe to assume this person may have been involved in his disappearance. So someone was directly involved in Lev's last expedition, and he took a sudden interest in magic. Galen, I am impressed. You've coped with this investigation well. Oh, we managed to impress Kaz. You're either a natural, or very lucky. Finding information and assembling it until a coherent picture forms aren't that different from a doctor's work. Collect symptoms, put them in various categories, construct a hierarchy, and eventually come up with a diagnosis. If only the process was so straightforward. But sometimes you have to be intuitive and take leaps to the strange connections just to see where they lead. Relying on pure facts and logic, you'd have to diagnose the entire city, and that, even with all your zeal, would be too large of a task. Tell me, have you ever solved something similar in your career? You want to hear my story? Did Constance send you? No, of course not. I'm just curious. And why would Constance send me to you anyway? She can be very inquisitive, especially when it comes to sensitive topics. She's been trying to learn about my past for years. I used to think she's simply curious. Some people are like that. But when I notice how frustrated she gets when I refuse to talk, I realize it must be something else. What are you suggesting? Let me just say I can recognize an informant when I see one. In that case, you have nothing to fear from me. I simply wish to know you better. That remains to be seen, but alright, I'll humor you. Before I came here, I spent many years working as a guard in larger cities, usually wealthy ports. Wealth attracts crime. Indeed, I had my hands full. I've seen a lot. I've investigated several cases of missing husbands and wives, too. They all had one thing in common. You never found them? Every single one of them went missing because of their spouse. It became very clear, very fast, that I was dealing with murder. A husband who removed his wife so he could marry his lover without having a rich and powerful father-in-law as an enemy? Or a wife who becomes so obsessively jealous she imagined her husband was having an affair with her sister and hired an assassin to kill them both. That's terrible. Is it? The way I see it, it's human nature to hurt each other, whether with iron and gold or silk and intrigue. Constance was right. You do have a lot of stories to tell. I'm rarely in a talkative mood. You're lucky, Galen. What else should I ask? Did Slava kill Lev? Why did he quit? Was he always a guard? That's an important question. Why did he quit? Why did you quit your old post and come up here? Got tired of the city noise? Know why I became a god in the first place? Call me naive, but I wanted to make a difference. I love that. You're talking to a doctor, you know. I can relate to your sentiment. I hope it won't lead you to the same place I ended up. You aren't talking about the city, right? Because, well, I'm already here. I'm talking about the disappointment you feel when you realize you're just one man and there's only so much one man can do. So you're man enough for me. You're man enough for Galen, Kaz. So you left because you were disappointed that you couldn't right all wrongs. How much time would you spend curing a patient with an incurable fatal condition? Luckily, I haven't needed to answer that question. Maybe I should let you get back to your investigation.